Congratulations if you have made it to part 3. So this is part 3 of my wisdom teeth story, and in this part I will be talking about some tips and tricks that I discovered on my own or that I've heard about and tried to share with you guys to make you A, feel less nervous, and B, so that you can also have these little tips and tricks up your sleeve to make your recovery and experience more enjoyable. Not that it would be enjoyable, but more enjoyable. So without further ado, let's just get started with these tips and tricks. So the first tip I have for you is to use ice. Use ice. I had one of those wraparound things that you tie on your head, on my head for a solid almost 72 hours. It did not come off my head. Like, my neck literally started to cramp. So my mom, and when I was at my dad's house, my dad had like a continuing cycle of ice packs. And when that thing wasn't available to be used, what we also did was we took one of my bandos and just took the little booby pads out, and we just stuck 2 ice packs in there and just put that around my head. It worked just as well. I had almost no swelling with that ice on my face. The next thing that I want to talk about are the meds. Personally, for me, I did not need the pain meds past, I would say, like that Monday or Tuesday, I would say. So I would try to wean yourself off of those after a few days, because you're going to be really, really sore for those first few days, or at least I was. So you're going to want them for those first few days, but then after that what I used was Tylenol and Advil. I kind of switched the two. Tylenol was definitely more effective. Advil sometimes doesn't really work on me that well, so Tylenol was definitely more effective, but I just kind of switched between those two on Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere around there. So that's my tip for you there. Tip number 3 is do either the saltwater rinse or the syringe. All that does is just cleans your holes really, really well, because you can't really brush your teeth. At least, if you can't open your mouth, you can't really get in there to brush your teeth. And if you're like me, the fact that there's stitches in your mouth makes you definitely a lot more conscious. So I wasn't really able to brush my teeth, fully for at least that first 2 weeks. So, yeah, my mouth was gross. So, that saltwater rinse, make sure to use it and make sure to get it in your holes. Most people are actually given a syringe, but the place I had mine done at doesn't believe in syringes, so I literally just took a cup of salt water and rinsed my mouth with it to get all the food out of your holes, because you don't really want food to be getting stuck in your holes. Otherwise, that's what could lead to infection or dry socket or all those non-fun things. Tip number 4 is to relax. And this kind of goes along with tip number 4. Don't push yourself either. I pushed myself, and that quite honestly probably did delay my recovery time just a little bit, but I did it anyway and learn from my mistake, and don't push yourself and relax. Take advantage of the fact that you're slightly useless. Watch some good movies and some good TV shows. Catch up on TV shows. And yeah, relax. Tip number 5 has to do with the food. So, for me, I was on soft foods for a good little over a month. But I did not get sick of these soft foods. The only thing I got sick of was not being able to crunch. But I did not, get sick of the soft foods that I was eating. You know how people say, oh, I'm so sick of eating pudding and Jell-O? That actually did not really happen, because I was smart this time, and I knew, since I had extras and since it always takes me longer to recover from pretty much anything, that I would probably be on soft foods more than a week. So what I did was I got smaller quantities, but I got more variety. So instead of getting 2 things of chocolate pudding, I got 1 thing of chocolate, 1 thing of vanilla, and then 1 thing of like chocolate and vanilla swirl. Or like soups. We got 1 can of a few different types of soups. So things like that. It kind of almost, in a way, for me, it kind of sort of tricked my taste buds into thinking that they were getting different types of food, even though they were basically essentially the same type of food, just a lot of different flavors. So that's how I was able to be on soft foods for so long and not like completely lose my mind. So to avoid getting sick of foods, do smaller quantities but more variety. Tip number 6, I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what I ate if you're at a loss for good soft foods apart from like Jell-O and broth. So, let's see. For the ice creams, I had vanilla ice cream, chocolate and vanilla swirl ice cream, and Cold Stone, like one of those pint to go things of cake batter. So good. And then I also had dreamsicles that I like scraped off the stick. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is puddings. So for the puddings, I alternated, this is like between my mom and my dad's house. So I alternated between chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, and chocolate vanilla swirl. And then I also had cheesecake and chocolate mousse. And for pasta, since a lot of pasta requires a little bit of chewing, what I found is that angel hair pasta is the best pasta. Because it's so thin, you really don't have to chew it much. So if you like cut it up, then it's really easy to eat. And then for soups, I got ramen noodles and tomato and clam chowder. And maybe chicken noodle? Yeah, chicken noodle. And then I had my mom's homemade mashed potatoes, and I made a pumpkin pie. So those were kind of the foods that I ate. So it was a very good little variety that I had, which was good. That was a very smart idea on my part, I have to say. And the last tip I have for you is don't base your recovery off of someone else's recovery. What I mean by this is, if your sister or brother or friend got theirs out recently and they recovered in like 2 days, that's great. They're one of the lucky ones. I obviously was not one of the lucky ones and took forever and ever and ever. Everybody's going to recover at their own pace and at their own rates. Some people have a rougher experience with it than others. Others are just like, yeah, like I'm a little bit swollen, I'm a little bit bruised, but I'm fine. And that's okay. You don't need to recover in 48 hours. You're not getting an infection if you don't recover in like 2 days. I would say you would need to be worried if like 2 months later if you were still no better. Because like even when my stitches were basically gone, I was still a sleepy slug. So, like, I did not feel like life for a good month or so. 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere in that general facility. Or, you know, you may be the lucky person recovering 48 hours, but then your friend may be the one who's taking, like, 6 weeks to recover. That's okay. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that one of you is the lucky one and one of you is not. Basically, just take that time to relax and get back on your feet at your own pace. Don't rush it, because if you rush it, then that will definitely prolong your recovery. That probably did it with mine, but whatever. And it's fine. Like, don't expect to jump back into life within 48 hours. If you do, that's great. If not, then that's okay. Just, you know, take the meds, wean yourself off the meds, eat soft foods for however long you feel like you need to. Don't rush solid and hard foods. If you get a variety, then that should definitely help. That's the biggest tip I have for you is variety. Get a variety. Keep those ice packs on your cheeks, and you should have minimum swelling. Oh, I actually do have one more little tip. If you do have, like, if you do have a black eye and a big old bruise on the side of your face, like I did, do not wear makeup at all. Don't even try. Enjoy having no makeup on your face. Enjoy that faster morning routine. That will either A, make it look weird, or B, it will not feel good to put it on, or C, it will make that somehow take longer to go away. So just don't even bother. Don't do eye makeup or anything. Just leave your face alone. Your face will probably appreciate not having it anyway. Okay, so this would conclude my story of getting my wisdom teeth out. Congrats if you made it till the end. I'm very proud. Very, very proud. I hope that you guys found this helpful in some way, shape, or form. You gained some knowledge and wisdom. Maybe you feel a little bit better if you were nervous. I don't know. Maybe you didn't find it helpful at all. I don't know. Either way, I would appreciate some feedback. And